CMPRadio.com. Pearson Coucher Law. Workers' Comp. That's all we do.
CMPRadio.net. It's the station.
Hey guys, Jacqueline Tucker here. Anytime I'm in the mood for some R&B, I'm listening to my CMP Radio app. Make sure you go and download it.
CMPRadio.net.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La la la. Behind me see my tears fall down. So many things have happened. The years go by and the friends you have for no more. Jealousy and envy. Wow, because you keep on grinding. People wanna see you fail, and although you fall, just move on. Crabs in a barrel, want what you have, try to pull you down. Don't wanna work, just wanna take. They also hate on me.
It would sound so much better if you wasn't singing it.
I'll be lifted. Hate on me. The more you hate, I'll be lifted.
There you go. La 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 la.
Yeah, now it's on. Unfortunately.
How y'all doing out there tonight in Facebook land?
Just saved everybody's
we
ears.
fine, Mike. Thank you. That's enough.
No.
Oh, really? Thank you, Jay.
I see what type of night this gonna be already.
Nah. First off, I want to welcome everybody out to Open Mike's Cafe Live with my special co-host this evening, Diamond.
I got invited back.
Happy.
Petty.
So tonight's conversation is going to be a conversation of a sexual nature. And, typically whenever I talk about anything, I always put it in context of relationships. So tonight's conversation will be no different. I guess the main thing that I want to kind of focus on tonight is we get into relationships, and typically prior to us getting into these relationships, we have conversations, but
We should.
But do we really have the conversations that we should be having? What's going on, Tyrone? How you doing?
Hi, Tyrone.
Well, one of the main conversations that I would like to look at this evening is sex and how sex pertains to us in relationships, and how we all have different sexualities, different lifestyles, different sexual orientations, and how that impacts relationships. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to go right for the jugular, and I'm just going to talk about when you get into, when you got to breathe too much. Okay.
I never know what conversation I'm walking into here.
So when you get into a relationship or whatnot, and you reach a certain fever point, a lot of times we do talk about sex, and we may talk about frequency, but we don't talk about things that are like non-negotiables, things that
Details.
we don't want to do, things we don't need to do. But then I have a question in my head of, should there be a limitation on what you do with the person that you're in a relationship with, like sexually? So if somebody comes to you sexually and they say, well, hey, I need you to like give me head, and like you don't do head. You know what I mean? Should you be refocusing and trying to do whatever you needed to do to give that head to make your partner happy in that relationship, although it's something you don't like to do or want to do?
I think if in anything, if you don't like to do it, then it's going to come out in your performance. Oh, so if you don't like to do it and you're doing it just to do it, it's not going to be pleasurable for either one of you. And some people do that so they don't have to do it again. You know, like, okay, I'm gonna make sure this is the worst ever, so you'll never ask me that again. But
Let's see, for those of us who
disrespectful.
for those of us who are parents and things, we
You
know
gonna
that
learn
typically
today.
that our children do stuff like that. When they don't want to do something, they'll do the worst job. Go do them dishes. They'll do the worst job possible. And guess what I'm gonna say? You're gonna do them dishes till you learn how to do them right. So I don't care about the bad performance. What's gonna happen is, if at first you don't succeed, try again.
Yeah, goodness.
But I'm saying though, I mean, to me personally, I think that in relationships, depending on where you're at, depending on what type of relationship it is, of course, if y'all talking about, you know, going at life together, living together in harmony for many moons and many years, then I think that whatever it is that your partner's kinks are, I think you need to rise to the occasion. I truly think that. I believe that wholeheartedly. You need to give what you need to give to your partner. You need to love them the way they need to be loved.
I'm hearing you. Because this conversation has me thrown for a minute. Because Mike just puts like, oh, tonight we're talking about this a little bit, you know. So I'm trying to get my words together to express myself in a diplomatic type of way. But sometimes people may not have been exposed to certain things, so automatically, Tyrone said, hit the bell. Tyrone, I thought you was on my side. I can't right now. But, you know, some people may not have been exposed to certain things, so automatically they may say no. But there definitely needs to be an in-depth conversation about, you know, likes, dislikes, what are you willing to? There definitely needs to be, because you being intimate with somebody, you want to be satisfied. You want to make sure your partner's satisfied too.
Well,
But to rise to the occasion, if it's a definite non-negotiable, that should definitely be discussed. And is it a deal breaker for the requester?
anything that I need is a deal breaker. I mean, when it comes down to...
Is it a need or a want and a desire? A need to live, a need to survive, a need to...
I desire that my needs and wants are met.
So you want to throw the whole relationship away because they don't lick in between your baby, they don't suck your baby toe. If that's your thing, and this is a need, then I don't care. You're the best woman ever, but you don't suck my baby toe.
I mean,
so
then you always have to realize, and this is where I think most people fall prey to their relationship falling apart, is when you're not doing what it is that somebody needs done. And the fact that they may go elsewhere to find that.
Is it a need or a want?
But see, for them, it may feel like a need. They may need that sex. Let me tell you something. See, sex is a funny monster. And what's so funny about sex is that you can look at something and you can say, oh man, that's disgusting. And somebody else can look at it and say, oh, that's my shit. That is my shit. I need that. I need that. So the whole time, all because you're looking at something and try to classify it as a want, somebody's looking at it and classifying it as a need. Like, there's certain stuff that need to go down for me to even get aroused. So if those things aren't going down, I need that in order to get where I need to be.
But that kind of contradicts what we were talking about, I guess, last week in the opening. We were talking about quickies, and doesn't get discarded because it's a quickie. Like, I need certain things for me to get where I want to be, as you just said. Mm-hmm. But we ain't got time for that, so automatically it's out the door.
A quickie is a quickie. So let's say this. Let's say you in the dirty talk. So if that means that the quickie is going to be, and I hate to go back to quickies, I'm sorry, but we have to for this example. But if we're going to have a quickie, then I'm going to need to snatch you up by your wig, call you a couple names, spank your butt while I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing for 5 minutes, and go about my way, go back to work. Let you go back and fix your wig. We done.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, That's it. The quickie is still the quickie. You can get what you need out of the quickie the way that you need it. But we're not talking about, when you talk about a quickie, once again, it's not about this full preparation.
No, I get that. I mean, we
Yeah.
discussed that in length the last time. I get
so
that.
I don't want to be the
So
dead
I'm
horse.
just
All I'm saying is this: if you're not willing to put out the way it needs to be put out, then I mean, what's the point?
so if you're not physically compatible, you throw away the whole relationship.
Well-
If that person is not, if that person is dead set against what you need, whether it's male or
Yes.
female,
Yeah,
so you throw
because-
away the whole relationship.
So let me answer your question with a question. So do I stay within a relationship trying to hold back what it is I want and need, or look elsewhere and cheat or whatever in order to get what I need so I can save and maintain this relationship, put up this whole facade so that this person can temporarily be happy, which is only going to be temporarily because eventually that truth is going to come out, and that truth is going to hurt way freaking more than the lie did.
You answered my question with a question. So anyway, you didn't answer my question.
That definitely answered your question.
No, you answered my question with a question.
Yes, throw it out.
I think the conversation needs
Throw
to
it
be
out.
what throw out what your answer.
I'm answering your question. Throughout the relationship.
Throw
Throughout
out-
the relationship, if you're not going to be fulfilled in that, let me tell you something. If we can sit down like adults and talk about this, and we can work something out, then we can do this. But if we're going to sit down and talk about it like adults, and you're just going to say no and not going to try to come up with any alternative way to give me what it is that I need, then why should I sit within that? Because to me, what that means is you don't love me enough to make the effort to try to give me what I need.
I don't know if you can say you can love somebody enough not to do
Shit.
certain things. Like not to. I mean, if you're like, I guess if you're flat against everything, you have all these non-negotiables. If you're not willing to budge or to negotiate or explore or whatever, I mean, it's a very intimate conversation, and you have to decide the emphasis you put on sex. For me, I'm always thinking about like the Christopher Reeve story for some reason. Like, no, I'm serious. Like, you can be having like the best intimacy, the best sex ever, but it's like, would you leave this person all of a sudden because they can't satisfy you in this certain way? And I'm not saying, I mean, that's the far stretch thing. That's like
But
to
you
the
got to
extreme.
realize in something like that. So, okay, let's say, for instance, let's say you're in a long-seated relationship with some dude, right? And, you know, for whatever reason, medical reason, whatever, he no longer can maintain an erection. Y'all been together for 10 years. Life has been great, but he can't maintain. No, I'm not saying throw it out because of that. But what I'm saying is early on in a relationship, sex is there.
So in your younger days.
Sex is typically there in the relationship before you decide to be in a relationship.
Yeah, the
Sex
attraction.
typically comes first. So what I'm saying is, I mean, this is before you even decide to hit your wagon to somebody's star. Like most people say, oh, well, how long do you wait to give it up? How long do you wait? Some people say, shit, 3 days. Some people say 3 months. Some people say until you're married. Listen, it doesn't matter when it goes down, but what happens is when it goes down, there are certain things that you as an individual need. And if those needs aren't being met and you verbalize it, and then the person best response they have for you is, oh, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's just something I'm not willing to do.
Most people don't have the conversation.
Shit, eventually.
But it comes up in the moment of, let me see if you want to do this, or let me see this. It comes up in the moment of attempt, versus people sitting down having conversations prior to.
I don't know.
And then afterwards,
I don't know.
you don't know?
I don't necessarily agree with that.
A lot of people I know don't have. I haven't heard of them say they have conversations before. It's usually during, to see what the person brings to the table, and then there's certain attempts that are not verbally
the only
stated.
thing that I think people attempt that's not verbally stated is
It's a couple of
is the
things.
booty thing. Is somebody
It's that,
trying to
it's oral sex, it's a-
dude? No, oral sex. Let me tell you something. So oral sex, either someone's going to do it.
Pause. Wait a minute. Tyrone says he agrees with me.
Okay, that's
Thank you.
fine. But hold on. Peep what I'm saying. the only time people typically ask for permission when you're already going through the throes of sex, when y'all naked and y'all doing what y'all doing, is like if you're gonna be like, yo, can I hit you in the butt? But hold on, wait, time out. Just hear me out. People typically don't say in the heat of the moment, hey, you okay if I give you some head?
No,
That
I'm not
don't
saying they
happen.
say it.
People don't say. Well,
It's
you're
a
saying
guidance
ask for
thing.
permission.
What I'm saying is, and I said not verbally stated.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a guidance thing of, let me see if you do this. It's more of a guidance
what
or
you
more
saying-
of a prompt thing of, you ain't move when I put my hand here, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So it's more of a prompt, non-verbal
Okay, so-
thing in the moment,
so-
but it's not discussed prior to.
So just for clarity, and so you'll know where I was coming from with what I was saying, you said ask for permission. You didn't say prompt. I do know that sometimes when people want head or something like that, they try to push a head down. But I mean, for me personally, if I go from like who I am as a person, I don't want to try to grab somebody's head and push it down. Like to me personally, that's like just asking somebody, be like, man, what the hell? What you doing? What you doing? I don't want nobody grabbing my head saying, yeah, eat that hot box. I don't want it going down like that.
That's what people say.
Well, probably. I don't want it going down like that. You know, that's what they say on
If it's hot, that to me that just translates something different. So I
What
know,
I'm saying is
who
that-
says that?
personally myself, you know what I mean? I it would be a situation of you automatically going to go do that yourself. And if you didn't do it yourself, then I will have a conversation with you about it later after everything is all said and done. And I might let it happen once or twice before I say, yo, you don't get head? Like, what's up? Like, I just want to know what the deal is on that. Do I have to ask and I might turn
there
it
a waiting
into a
list, a
joke.
waiting period?
So a waiting list.
It's a waiting list, a waiting period. Like we can do all this, but like until we, with the fifth time, then because the thing is, usually I don't do this. That's what usually that's the response. Usually I don't do this, or I don't do this with
Well, no,
everybody.
see,
You gotta be
yeah.
somebody special.
Well, see, that's what females typically say. Like, I don't do this.
That's
I
'cause
don't
men
normally
do
this.
anything.
Or this is my first time doing this, and you just be like, okay, it's your first time. We're gonna play this game. We're role playing. Somebody write this script for you. But I'm just saying though.
That's the whole reason why I'm with you, because I heard this is what you
Exactly.
did. You know what I mean?
I came here explicitly for what I heard you did.
I got resources. This is
Well,
what you do.
The
That's
weird
what I'm
part
here
about
for.
it all, and what I'm really trying to get at, is that, I mean, should you be able to just say, this is a non-negotiable, no, this is something I'm not going to do, and not even try to come up with any way to try to resolve the issue or resolve the situation, or at least give your partner relief and release?
I think when the sex comes before an actual in-depth relationship, everything is based on sex. I think if you have the relationship first and when sex comes later, which it rarely does, then now you have something to compare it to. And it's like, not compare it to, but weigh out like.
But should we be waiting to have sex until we're in a relationship? Do you think? Honest? I mean, be real. Be real.
Christine is replying to Tyrone, so she says she agrees.
It's 2021.
You would read
Head
that
is
one.
a part of great sex. Thank you, Tyrone. That's what I'm saying.
Tyrone
at
jump
the
ship.
end
You
of
was
the
on
day.
my side, and you jump ship.
No, he's just saying it's 2021. It's a part of great sex. It's going to happen. It's going to go down. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, nowadays, anyway, people not even having those conversations on the streets. They're just going to DM you a pic.
Well, you're physically attracted to somebody first. You see people and everything. But when we talked about healthy relationships before, just talking about relationships, one of the issues is we jump in the bed with people early and get to be attracted to them physically for what they can do physically, and then there's no substance, and then you try to be in a relationship and build a relationship off of a physical thing.
But what happens is you get kind of like addicted to the physical encounters,
Exactly.
as opposed to addicted to the actual person and their personality,
Right.
and their contribution, to you in said relationship.
So if you're in a sexual relationship, then you should you should. Did I finish my sentence? If you're in a sexual relationship and that's what it's based off of, then your sexual relationship should be no holds barred. It should be, you should be getting your wants and desires and needs met if it's just a sexual
But even
thing.
in a sexual relationship, you'll have people say, so I don't do this.
But if it's
and
just
I
a
don't
sexual
do
relationship,
that.
then you can choose
So
to be
that's
outside
fine.
of
Yeah,
that.
that's fine because that's just a sexual relationship.
Right.
I'm talking about
like
when
an
you
option
get
on the
into
menu.
a deep-seated relationship and like, let's say you in a deep-seated relationship with some dude and he's coming at you about something you feel is a deal breaker. And this is what I want to explore. Like at the end of the day, if he's saying, yo, I want to, you know, I'm not going to make up a scenario.
You gonna
because
give me a
Lord
real
knows
life one.
I can give you a crazy scenario. But the whole thing comes down to being, if someone is asking you for something that you know you do not want to give, do you just say, and you're in a deep-seated relationship with this person, do you just say, well, hey, this is something that I'm not going to do. It's something that I don't feel comfortable with. It's something that I think is disgusting or odd or that's just weird, or and just leave it there? Or do you say, you know what? I don't do that. But let's talk about what can be done. Let's talk about how you can get your needs met in that arena.
I think the latter part, because I know I have a few do's and don'ts, or non-negotiables, and they are discussed. If I, why are you?
Because I'm sitting up
you
here
right there.
I'm
I
listening.
can't stand you right now. I'm not looking at Mike.
I want to dig deep in on this.
I know, and I'm not.
I want to dig deep in on this.
I know people have certain non-negotiables that
Okay,
are
tell me a non-negotiable
I'm not
of a
doing
person. Of a person. Just what you think would be a non-negotiable sexually.
Some people, well, what Tyrone said, it's 2021. See, the problem is I'm a nurse, and so a lot of
You
things
didn't
are very
answer my
medical.
question.
I'm about to. So there's a lot of medical stuff that goes on. So we talk about certain things. And so there's a lot of people who don't believe in 2021 with everything that's out there now, even with some whatever medications, that oral sex is... Oral sex, raw oral sex. First of all, it's different levels. Oral sex with no kind of barriers, oral sex with barriers. It just becomes so complicated that some people don't think oral sex is automatic. Some people don't.
But why wouldn't oral sex be automatic?
It depends on who you with. Some people
No,
are
I'm saying
not
I
with
can
that.
understand if you're, but what I'm talking about more so is on a level of a deep-seated relationship. I asked you, what was a non-negotiable? You say, well,
Some people say oral sex.
say oral sex. In a deep-seated relationship, oral sex is non-negotiable.
It's non-negotiable, but some people are receivers but not givers.
So, okay. For the person who is a receiver, but not a giver, but the giver wants to receive, this is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
When you want something, when you feel like you need something, and your partner tells you, no, I'm not going to do that. I think it's disgusting, yada, 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 blasey, blasey. What my question is, then what does that look like? Do you just say no? Or do you say, well, look, I'm not going to give you head, but how about we go to a site and we find somebody who will come here and give you head? How about we interview a couple people that'll come here and somebody will give you head so you can get that. So then at least you know where he's getting his head from, and you don't have to worry about him cheating on you and lying to you about it.
I've heard there's devices that provide...
Devices ain't the same.
I've heard that there's devices that provide... it's like simulated oral sex that the people can still be satisfied. So I don't know. I mean, that's the conversation. So this is what we're talking about. Is it a conversation you have? And if people have had this conversation, like I've heard of people say absolutely not to this, and then either that's the end of that. I haven't heard of people saying what their negotiables are. It's just the end of it.
But see, that's the fucked up part about everything. So Qua said the limitations. What's good, Qua? The great 1-8 in the house. Qua said the limitations should have been discussed in the very beginning of the relationship. Tyrone said hit the bell once again.
On what part,
Look,
Tyrone? Because this is a little
listen.
delayed. I think he's saying about my part.
Oh, it's always about your part today.
Because he went to your side.
So, I mean, Qua also said it won't work. If the head that good, it's possible he could leave. Oh, so
with the
you
option.
saying that he would leave with the optional person?
Some people do. You invite somebody
But-
to your bedroom, and then
but
some
no.
people have they
Well,
invited some
some
people, and then one of the couples, one of the original couples, then gets left out because
Let me
they've
tell
been.
you something. I look at it this way. There's no way in hell I would leave my woman if she gives me everything I need except for that, but then says you can go ahead and get that from somewhere else. I don't care how good somebody's giving head. Sex don't make the relationship.
Right.
But sex can break it. It don't make the relationship, but it can break it. And I say it can break it by somebody just saying like, hey, I'm not getting it here. So I'm going to go over here and get it. I love you with all my heart, but I need this. I fiend for this. I'm watching porn that freaking shows this. I'm getting on sites. I'm in people inboxes and stuff like that. Let me tell you something. One of the hardest things in this world to resist, honestly, is your innermost desires. We fight ourselves every freaking day.
We do.
We fight ourselves over the things that we want. We fight ourselves over the desires that we have in our heart. We hate ourselves when we do stuff to hurt the people that we love, even when they don't know about what it is that we do. So at the end of the day, if some woman, if you get with a woman, if I got with a woman, if you got with a man, and it was like, I'm not going to do this, but you can do that. I'd be damned if I'm going to leave a damn good woman who looks out for all of my wants and needs over somebody who give me good head.
Right.
Get out of here.
No, I get that part.
Yeah.
But what if you didn't have the option? You said if you had, you have to have the option to be pleasured somewhere else. Like, because we do fight our temptations every day. But if that was not an option, is now the relationship a deal breaker because you don't have? And it's an outlet that you need. I get that, and it's not being satisfied in this relationship that you have value in.
It's not an outlet. It's not an outlet. It's an experience. Like sex is an experience.
So, but does the experience that you don't get, does that outweigh the value of the relationship?
If someone is flat out denying you, and in essence saying, "You're with me for the rest of your life, and you can never have this," man, fuck out of here.
I think that I don't know. I don't know. So let's so go back up just a little bit and I'm gonna read this. So it's hit the bell won't work. Christina said la 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 LOL. I said la 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 LOL. What website is that? I will let you know, Christina, because I heard some stories. Tyrone said he's on my side. It's all love storm.
I don't know, Tyrone. I
Quad
don't
said
know.
yes, the optional person.
About leaving with the optional.
Yeah. Or just inviting an optional person. Tyrone said sex can also make it as well, which it can. And then he said you give her the best she ever had, anything is possible.
Yes,
I think I think people make decisions in the moment. I don't know if my deal breakers are 100%, they are 100% no today. Will they be 100% no later on in the relationship? I don't know. I know they have been consistent 100% no for my lifetime. And I don't know if I'm willing to negotiate 100% on my deal breakers. So I mean, if that's a deal breaker for someone and they say, well, I can't be with you, or we can do all this, but I'm gonna need an outlet for me, I wouldn't have it. So I wouldn't have it, because I don't even though a good physical relationship does carry a lot of weight in my overall scheme. Is it a deal breaker if they're giving me everything else I need? It's hard to say because I haven't been put in that position in a sense where I've gotten everything I need outside of a physical relationship. And so I don't know how to answer that honestly.
Well, for me personally, I feel like if you're getting everything that you need, because it's some people who, let's say they're with somebody and all their bills is paid. They don't have to worry about nothing financially. They're not going through the throes of a bunch of ridiculous shit constantly. They can, for all intents and purposes, be in a great relationship and they'll wind up cheating on who they're with because sexually they're not being fulfilled. And like I said, sex will never make a relationship. A relationship cannot stand on sex alone. But sex can definitely break it when you're not giving your partner the things that they need. I mean, you're going to seek these things. Let me tell you something. I think sex is not just, I don't think it's just a want. I think it's a need. You know, we need to feel things the way we need to feel. It's like being a hedonist. And the hedonists are people who believe that, okay, you do whatever it is that you need to do to be happy. You try to spend most of your time happy and enjoying life and enjoying yourself. You know, the honest to God truth is that your partner wants to enjoy their sexual experiences with you. Mm-hmm. So they want you to be a part of their world as well as they want to be a part of yours.
Right.
So if they are giving you the things sexually that makes you happy, should you not be giving them the things that make them happy, even if it's something that you don't necessarily care for?
I think if you don't care for it, it's like you're just doing it to do it.
Okay.
And
But
that should not be okay.
You're not just doing it to do it. That diminishes the capacity of it. You're doing it to make your partner happy.
But
so
you
don't
don't
like giving
like
head.
it.
Man, let me tell you something. It's people who don't like their job and they show up to work every freaking day and do what they supposed to do so they don't
do
get
a
fired.
half behind job and they
That's
work
not
when
everybody.
they don't like their job. They do
Let me ask you a
they
question.
do enough not to get fired.
Have you ever had a job you didn't like?
And I left it.
Did you do a half-ass job when you was there?
No.
Okay then. Rest
But
my case.
when I
Rest
did
my
not
case.
like my job, I left. I
Yes.
love my job,
Yes.
and then when I did
You
not
see
like
what
my
the end
job,
result
I
is.
left.
You see what the end
But I didn't
result is.
half-ass my job.
But you see what the end result was. You left, and even when you didn't like it, you found something else to leave, but you never half-assed it. So let me tell you something. If you had to give head and you didn't like giving head, at the end of the day, if it makes your partner happy, guess what? Pucker up. Pucker the hell up. And that's all it is to it. Like, I don't think anybody can get mad at somebody for saying, like, yo, I don't want to do this or I can't do this. Yes, I do think it's reasonable and I think it's rational to put these things on the table. And if these things can't be met, I think it's reasonable and rational that you leave because that affects your happiness. See, we as human beings, we have different compartments to our life. And those compartments need to be running on all cylinders to be happy. We have to feel secure. You know what I mean? We need to feel loved. You know, we need the things that we need that's going to make us tick, that's going to make us happy.
I have a couple of married friends. Just had this conversation earlier this week that I was going to slap her because she said she just did her wifely duty and gave her husband some so that he wouldn't be out in these streets, you know, getting it from other people. But she, like, the way she said it was like, oh, I had to do my wifely duty, and she does not enjoy it. But it's not that she doesn't enjoy her husband. Certain things that she wants, she doesn't get from him to be in the moment. And she just does her wifely duty because she does not want him out there getting it from someone else. And I just think and this is what I told her too, that it's just unpleasurable.
Then she's unhappy in her relationship.
No, the other part of the relationship is amazing, but she's just not getting what she needs for him sexually, but she's not going to not do her wifely duty. And the fact that she expressed it like that, like, it's deemed as my wifely duty.
What's up, Jerome?
And I just think, like, for me, before, like we talked about this before, that people get into sexual relationships before they get into actual relationships, and then they try to build a real relationship.
You know what? It bothers me. It bothers me deep down inside that she would say, "Do my wifely duty so he won't be in the streets." It sounds like you.
You just said she gotta pucker up. If she don't like it, but pucker up.
I said it bothers me that she said that. It bothers. It doesn't bother me that she did it. It bothers me that she said that. That would be like it. Let's say she overheard her husband saying, "Let me go ahead and do my husbandly duties, so she don't be all nagging at me later." You know what I mean? She could take offense to that.
But you said, but here's the thing. If it's something that you don't like to do, this is what we've been talking about. You don't like to do, don't want to do, but it pleases your mate. You said pucker up and get to it. Whether you like it or not, pucker up and get to it. And that's what she did. She gave him what he wanted, what he needed, but she, in her mind, labeled it as a wifely duty. She did something to make her husband happy, even if she did not want it.
You ever see The Color Purple?
Yeah.
Okay. So remember when Celie was talking to, what was the singer name? Sister, you've been on my mind.
Suge Avery.
Suge Avery. She was talking to Suge Avery, and Suge Avery asked her, could she borrow Mister for the night? And she was like, "Oh, I don't care. You can take." And she was like, "Oh, well, I'm surprised you feel that way." And she was like, "Well, Miss Celie, don't you enjoy it when Mister on you?" And she like, "No. It feel like he go to the bathroom on me." And I never understood what that meant, but her saying that brought that into my mind. Because it feels like her just saying, yeah, he just pissed on me, basically, and kept it moving. You know what I mean? It sounded almost disgusting. So no, you didn't do your wifely duty in my eyes, because your wifely duty ain't you doing what you're supposed to do as my wife, and then complaining about it to your friend.
Well, it was a conversation, and it wasn't
like
like
a complaint
it
to
wasn't
me.
a complaint. It was a conversation, and that happened to come up, and that's how she described it, not as a complaint. She's totally fine with it. But this is what happens of how it's internalized of something that a person does not want to do, and has expressed that, but this is what the mate wants, and you're saying that they should pucker up. And so she puckered up, but now you want to define how she internalized it it's her wifely duty.
But then most of it, first off,
now he enjoyed himself.
Jerome said, "I see what you're saying, Diamond, but that means he should pucker up and do what she needs."
Exactly. So that was the rest of the conversation.
Yeah, no doubt. I believe both people, see, this is, because I'm a man saying it, it doesn't mean that I'm just speaking from a male perspective. You know what I mean?
that.
What I'm saying is, we need to do what it is. If you're with a woman and she requires foreplay, then guess what? Get on deck. It's time to get pushing. You got to do what you need to do. I don't care if you hate it. I don't care if you don't like it, man. Just do what it is that she needs you to do. Because at the end of the day, this is what winds up happening. So not only did you tell me that she said that, but you also proceeded to tell me how he doesn't do the things that he needs. So you started to tell me more, which tells me she told you more, which most of us don't understand as men. I'm going to say as men, when we walk around our significant others' girlfriends, while they be acting like they can't stand you half the time, or be looking at you sideways, or be cackling behind your back. Because is it your wifely duty to do what it is that is required of you, and then turn around and say whatever you say for somebody else to take it, add their emotions and how they feel about relationships to it, and tell somebody else? And the next thing you know, because I oftentimes hear people say, "Oh man, you got," like, man, let me tell you something. The female network is huge. Is huge. If you as a man, especially in these streets in Chester, let me tell you something. You be that dude that gave somebody 5 seconds of fury.
Everybody gonna know.
Everybody know about it.
Right.
Everybody know about it. You know what I mean? You be that dude that ain't doing this right, ain't doing that right. You be that dude that they feel is suspect or whatever. Everybody know about it.
Right.
So then at the end of the day, if you're in a relationship with somebody or you're married to somebody and you're taking your information and complaining to one of your girlfriends, you know what I mean? To me personally, that's not your wifely duty. Let me tell you something. Do what you need to do. Shut it up. Do what you need to do. Get on your knees, do a back bend, do a handstand, do whatever it is that you need to do. But you don't complain about it. You just do it.
So your word is complain. We had a conversation. She asked me for advice. It's out of state friend, and I have a lot of married friends that I speak to. And one of the things Christine, was it Christine? Jerome asked was, did she have a conversation when to let him know what he needs to do for her? And that was the rest of our conversation. Last week we talked about having people in your circle that's just not going to listen to you and be on that, that, oh, he ain't ish nothing. And then you got to surround yourself with people who are going to give you advice. And so this was my advice to her, was, have you communicated with him, and what does he not do what do you need? Did you communicate with him? And maybe you need to tell him more often than not, even if you get exaggerated and exhausted in it. Like, if what you need done is not being done, and now you feel like, and I was hot because the way, as I said this before, the way she described it, that made me mad. Like, why are you describing intimacy, sex with your husband of all these years as a wifely duty? There's something wrong there. So our conversation was more of a mature one, of having a conversation with him and, getting out of the house and having different ideas to, have that conversation, be more intimate with him, spice it up.
She should have told her therapist and not you.
Well,
because to me personally, once again, if you know her by extension, I'm sure you know her husband, and I'm not saying intimately or anything, but you know her husband. And to me, her saying those things, like how you may interpret it, or how, you may project subconsciously around him, if it made you feel a certain type of way. And I understand this whole, okay, we're having grown-up conversation. Yeah, you confiding in your girlfriend and this. Let me tell you something. It be the people that you trust the most, when the shit hit the fan, they wind up throwing your shit out in the street.
Right.
The sad part about everything is people always talking about people assassinating their character, but I promise you, 9 times out of 9, if somebody's running around assassinating your character, you gave them the ammunition to do it with.
And
so
that's
you
true.
got to remember, at the end of the day, some things should be sacred. It should be. And if you feel at any moment that what you're doing is, oh man, I gotta do this, it's like time to make the donuts.
Right.
If it's like that, then maybe you shouldn't be in that.
But it's not like first of all, we're out of state. And first of all, like, we trust each other with everything. I'm not around her and her husband, and I value them. And that's why when that came out, I'm like, okay, what's going on? So it's not like I am going to be like, oh, he ain't this, ain't that, she ain't getting, that's not me. And I don't have relationships like that where we're going to down each other's mates like that. We're going to give each other good advice. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But in our particular situation, she could trust me with this information because, like, I've known her for years and she's never said anything. So this is like, I don't know if she has a therapist. I really want to say 99%. I'm positive that she doesn't. But at the same time, we share a lot of intimate stuff, so she can trust me with this information. Plus, she knows who I am in a sense of giving that type of advice in our relationship. And that's all I'm going to say. But I get that. But I'm saying
to you is, you have to understand the inherent danger in doing things like that.
Yeah, definitely. You can't tell everybody. And she would never tell anybody that she in the state that she lives in with.
Christina said, it sucks when you have a man that doesn't like oral and just doing it just because. There is no fun in that. Mm-hmm. You read this one by Jerome. Jerome also said, good advice, girl. That's what adults should do. And Jerome said, Mike, sometimes people can open up to friends better than a therapist, regardless of the risks. And what I'm going to say is, I kind of disagree with that in a way. I think that we can open up better to people who don't know us than people who do know us. Like, when we go to therapy, we know already, like, this person is supposed to be an objective listener. Mm-hmm. So you just go in there, you dump your shit out. they don't know your mom, they don't go to your church, they don't, they're not in your community basically. So it's kind of like, and most people that go to therapists will normally go to therapists outside of their area. You know what I mean? Because you want to make sure that
Somebody
you
can be objective,
open,
right?
and you can say, that this woman or male that you're talking to will never be around, those
Or
people
be in your
in
network,
life.
right?
Yeah, they'll never be in your network of friends. I mean, to me personally, it's been my experience anyway. Whenever I went to therapy, like I feel more able to share, but it's after we build up some trust. You know what I mean? Because you still do worry about judgment when you're talking. What I'm talking about more so is when we have relationships, like it's hard to talk about your relationships to your friends who love and care about you, and then for them not to internalize it, personalize it, and then project it onto the object of the conversation.
Yeah, I get that.
That's just the whole thing.
I get that.
It's very difficult, and there's so many relationships fall apart. And I used to date somebody a long time ago that said, a man is temporary, a friend is forever. And to me personally, I'm like, what? That's literally like saying, like, your girlfriend is more important than me. And in her mind, she was. Because I could be gone one day. And the truth of the matter
and so
is,
can friends.
one day I was gone, But I would stand to question, if I could ask the question of that woman so many years ago, are those friends still in your circle? Are you talking to them every day? Did those relationships change,
Yeah,
How
friend.
many of us
Let's have them.
them?
Yeah, friends don't last forever. And
Yeah.
again, it's the value of the friend. And then because of, and I'm not defending myself at all. I'm just saying we have to have people around us who are not always going to be yes people to you.
Yeah.
So because of my background and who I am and who she is to me and who I am to her, it's the only reason why she trusted this information to me. But again, is with the thing of what are you doing? What have you done? And
I still don't think it make it right though, but I got what you're saying.
But
don't make it right.
what I'm clarifying
But I
for
got
the
what you're
audience.
saying. Well, you can clarify for them all day. But let me tell you something.
Anyway.
If it's raining outside, it's raining outside. You ain't going to change that. And what happens, once again, yes, we can have conversations with people, and you could tell people something in hopes that they'll never ever say anything, never ever turn on you, but you just don't know. They say if you want to keep a secret, tell no one.
And here's the thing, especially, I don't care how old you are. They say this is a young person's thing to do, but you tell your friends things that you are not getting in a relationship, and you don't know the quality of your friends or the motives of your friends. And now, like you said, you just gave them ammunition to give your mate what you were not giving him, or you just literally armed them with everything they need.
This is the weird part about everything. Imagine her telling you all that and you sleeping with her dude, but she don't know it. You know what I mean? Because that's possible.
That has been possible in other relationships. Yeah.
That how did she know by her telling you these things? It wasn't letting you know, like, damn, I should come at her dude. You know what I mean? If you were that type of woman.
Right, if that was that
what
type
I'm
of woman.
is,
but her husband is thoroughly happy. He is thoroughly happy. So he doesn't have a clue sometimes that.
I'm not saying that he's not. All I'm saying is all of these things in real life. See, when I talk about things on here,
it's in general.
I talk about it in general to open it up and open up people's minds to the possibilities and facts. What's the reality?
Right.
Most of the time you're in friendships with friends, you have falling outs. A lot of times people wind up putting your business in the streets, and women are notorious for it. Women are truly
Let me tell you, men are talkers too. So don't.
I didn't say men wasn't.
Listen.
I did not say men wasn't talkers. But I'm sure anybody listening tonight could tell me ain't no man going to do that better than a woman. Ain't no man going to put your shit out there better than no woman would. And let me tell you something.
Women know how to sauce some stuff up. We can season some stuff up.
Yeah, no doubt. But most men don't want to hear another man gossip about this woman. They don't want to hear it. Most men don't even want to hear your fucking problems. You can have a best friend And this dude really don't want to hear your problems.
Yeah.
He'll say, man, shut the fuck up and don't fucking kill yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Or they got
It's about
ulterior
your
motive
life.
and they want to hear it so they can
You-
move in.
You could
But
be sitting there telling some dude, this girl ripped my heart out and stepped on it. He'd be like, that's all right, let's go get some bitches. You know what I mean? And that's going to be his cure for that.
right.
But a woman to be like, he did what, girlfriend? Oh, let's get him and make a plan. Make a plan. A man is on the spot.
Plausible
A
deniability.
woman is so
I don't know what you're
patient
talking
that
about.
is scary. So Tyrone said, facts, Storm. Thanks, Tyrone. Jerome said, I
ship.
definitely need my people who tell me how it is and ask the tough questions. They are priceless. I agree with that. It's very good to have good friends that's going to be straight up with you. Christina said, that takes growth. So many people have friends around them that just agree with them, even when the person is doing dumb shit.
Right.
And then Jerome said, facts all the way around. Gossip has no gender. Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah.
But once again, all I'm saying is I would rather have a dude gossip about me than a female gossip about me. Because let me tell you what, a dude gonna do some shit like shake up your reputation, smack it around a little bit. Man, a female was gonna burn that bitch from the inside out, and you won't even know what happened. You'll walk in a room and people walking away from you, and you're like, "What the hell? And what the hell is
Plausible
going
deniability.
on?"
Deny,
And she
deny,
will. Let me tell you
deny.
something. A man will steal your crops. A woman will steal your crops, salt the earth, just to make sure nothing else will grow.
Women are very thorough in everything they
Exactly. And this is my point. This is my point. So it is, and I'm not trying to be a horrible person to women.
No, I get it.
It's just once again been my experience. I was in the military for a long time. I've heard so many crazy stories where you like, what the hell? That happened? Yeah, that really happened. That really happened, man. People are heartless. I think dudes don't have dudes do dude things. And they don't always make sense when they do them, but they do them. Dudes are reactionary. Women are just planners. They will create a masterpiece. You know, it reminds me of that song Friends when they say, and as she shook your hand, she stole your man, and it was done so sweet, it had to be a plan. Couldn't trust her with cheese, let alone your keys.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm just saying, like it's hard. So I just want to caution you when you open up, and just because we went along this line of conversation, I want to caution all of y'all. When you open up your mouth to your friends to complain about somebody, you need to think about who you're talking to. And I don't care. You can say somebody is your best friend. I wonder if we took a poll right now, how many people have a best friend who had sex with their girl at one time or another, with an ex or whatever? Man, a lot of times people be right by your side and they want the things that you have.
And
They
you
may
give them
not say it.
access.
Yeah,
you give them access because
all
they're
the
close,
time.
right? But
All the
we had this
time.
conversation that I have a family member that's been with 3 of my exes, and it's not right. That's still blood, but I don't deal with them anymore
Yeah.
and everything. But it's like, how do you? And it wasn't like I told her anything. It was just that she had access to me because of her status in my life.
Yeah.
But it's like, why would you do that? And some people want what you have or what they think you have.
Yeah.
But even that with friends, we know our friends and we know we only trust them to a certain extent. Like I know, your friends have tendencies of certain things. So with certain things you'll tell them and certain things you won't tell them.
Yeah, no doubt.
No
doubt.
I don't think anybody trusts. There's very, very rarely that you'll trust a friend with any and everything.
Well, I could say honestly that I had a best friend that had sex with a person that was my girlfriend at the time. I can honestly say that, a best friend that did that. And their excuses for it and reasoning for it was just ridiculous. I'm sitting up here like, what the hell? And then it was so fucked up because the friendships never return. They never snap back. You can never trust it. The relationship is pretty much over and done with. It's
Pretty much.
It's crazy. Like, we share all of these things, and some of these things we just shouldn't be saying shit about, man. Let it be what it is. If your girl do handstands and splits, keep it where it's at. You know what I mean? If your dude do amazing things and you know he doing it just right or whatever, keep that where it's at.
Yeah.
I know you excited.
You
know
got
you
listen,
excited.
text it to
Keep it
yourself.
where it's at. You know what I mean? Because all you doing really is giving them advertise. Let me tell you something.
Free
I had a
advertisement.
friend
Yeah.
that was messing with somebody, and the dude started messing with somebody else. She got mad at the dude. You know, he kept going back and forth, back and forth. She kept taking him back. She got mad at the dude one night and posted a picture of him. Then she took it down. Then this dude, he wound up, the babe he was smashing, screenshot it before it could be removed. Sent it to him. Man, he put her on blast in a horrible way, man. I felt so freaking bad. But it's like, man, you gotta be careful what you do. Be careful who you trust and be careful who you screwing.
Yeah.
I'm just putting it out there. But
Yeah.
let me read a couple more. Jerome said the ladies way better and more conniving. I agree. And yo, one of our guys from Afghanistan got took for life, $14K by one of our medics. Damn. Yeah, got took for like 14,000. God damn. Yo, you got to inbox me that name, Jerome.
No.
Inbox me that name. Because I need to know who that was. I need to know. And you know something? This is the crazy part. I got an idea of who it was because I knew somebody was chasing after a medic while we was in country. I remember that. Christina said, telling friends your problems sometimes give them room to move in. They sitting there trying to figure out how they can take your spot, especially with sex. You keep that to yourself. A man would want a girl like that, but the woman wants that man, not someone like him, but her friend man.
Yep. Exactly.
She don't want the idea of that. She want the man
Yep.
himself.
She want what
know
you
I
getting.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you know what the crazy part is though? Back in the day, like, you know, I got a lot of brothers. And this is a small city. It's a really small city. I got a lot of brothers. This is a small city. So I can remember, like, every time we would meet somebody, you come home, like, to a council meeting and, yo, did you ever smash the babe? Did you ever do anything with the babe? Yo, and if you did, you mind if I talk to the babe?
With your brothers.
Hell yeah, they're my brothers. Get permission or something. I don't know.
Permission to
I don't know.
share.
If that's not sharing.
Or it is sharing. You
That is
had
not
it, now you sharing,
It-
or it's,
no,
it's pass
no.
it along.
I'll take that. I won't take sharing. I'll take that.
What your brother had?
Let me tell you something. It's not a vagina or a dick in this world that ain't being shared or passed along.
I mean,
every dick you get is used.
I
Don't laugh.
get
It's
that.
serious. Every
But
dick you
with
get
your
was
family
used.
is what I'm saying.
It
With your
doesn't-
own family.
Doesn't matter though. Doesn't really matter.
I don't want nothing my sister had. I don't want nothing my cousins had.
Let me
I
tell
don't.
you.
I don't want. I mean, I think certain things are off limits.
Wow.
Certain things are off limits.
I feel you. I mean, maybe it's different for women. I don't know. Me, myself, I just don't look at things that way. I look at things kind of sort of like if you was dealing with somebody but you wasn't serious with them, if y'all was just messing around, shit. Let me tell you something. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Throw the baby in.
You throw the bathwater out.
No.
You keep that baby. You
I don't
keep
know.
the baby.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Christina, where you at with this? As
I'm
a
just
female,
saying.
where you at with this?
Well, of course, I could tell you, Tyrone agree with you.
Thank you, Tyrone.
You
But
happy?
no, because Tyrone jumped ship. I appreciate this
Tyrone-
one, Tyrone.
Well, see,
Tyrone jumped ship.
No, let me tell you something. The honest to God truth is this. We all feel different about different things. All I'm saying is you ain't going to come up to some female and no female is going to come up to some male who got that brand new car sent. Like nobody ain't never put no miles on it. It's not going to happen. And guess what? I buy a car from my brother than a car from a stranger because at least I know what I'm dealing with. That's all I'm saying.
That's a car.
That's all I'm
like you
saying.
come down to people. I like I said, I think ex-fiancés, ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends.
Well,
talking about both.
ex-fiancés is something different.
But
like
no.
if they was married to the woman, or if it was a fiance, or you had a deep-seated relationship, that's one thing. But when I was growing up, I said back in the day.
Okay.
Back in the day when I was growing up.
Back in the day when you was
It was
kid,
like,
you're not a
what-
kid anymore. I can rap some. I know some songs, but I get it. Back in the day, you did what you did. But I'm saying, as you get older, we talking about adult relationships now. Even when back in the day, I didn't want, like, my family, and it's crazy because I don't know who's watching this, but I've had cousins and closer family members been with, who've been with people I've been with, but I would never be with who they've been with
Okay, that's fine.
back then or now.
That's fine. I'm just saying, if it was a serious relationship, if you was literally just having sex with somebody, I mean,
I think back in the day, everybody was just having sex with
sex
somebody
with
when
everybody.
you were young. When you were
Yeah.
young, everybody
But,
was just
I mean,
having sex.
Well,
But
back
still,
in the day, though, I still asked permission. Because the whole time you don't know how somebody may have felt about somebody that they was messing with. So I always ask permission.
ask permission. Yo,
Let
you
me
hit
see.
that. Can I hit
Jerome
that
said seen that a couple times. Oh, that was from the from Christina's comment earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And Christina said, no sharing with family or friends. Luckily for me, my attraction to the men I choose is different from my family. Lots of laughs. The people I'm attracted to, my sisters don't understand why, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a good thing. Y'all got different tastes. But even when people tell you they got different tastes in something,
Yeah.
sometimes people get curious.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what that side of the fence looking like? What it look like?
I know because of my past experience with family members, my relationships have always been. I'm a very secluded person anyway. Like, you don't know who I'm dating. Last year I popped up engaged. Mike, being a close friend of mine, was like, "Wait, what?" Like, I don't get that. But my relationships are very very private. Like, I don't. Very, very private. I don't express any of that. My business publicly is my business publicly. My business privately is my business privately. And because of past relationships, I don't share any of that. Now, I do have a couple of girlfriends, like the one I talk to, that I can tell anything to. But again, we're in different states. She knows me, and that's somebody I can be vulnerable with and really say what I need to say. But I don't share any information. I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
You tell somebody your spaghetti is so good, they gonna want to taste it. They do.
They want a
But
forkful.
people.
They
Well, let me
wanna-
get a taste of that. You keep
They
talking
wanna
about
fork
it.
They want to fork it.
Listen to me. Just let me dip my hand and let me just see what it. Let me just get it.
They
now.
taste the sauce. Put the
And
pinky in it.
I even when I do get married, I think like it's just people these days, you can't trust nobody.
Yeah.
And then because relationships or people are openly who they are of any gender.
Well, you know what the crazy part here is? You really have to be able to trust your mate when it's all said.
Oh, yeah,
and done.
definitely.
See, if you could trust your mate, you're not worried about what somebody else has.
Right,
I
but I'm not
always
going to put
say-
temptation around them or somebody who I know has tendencies.
Well, it might not even be temptations. Because let me tell you something. One of women's fatal flaws to me is women think that a man will put his dick in anything.
Some people do.
A lot of women think that. A lot of women think a man will have sex with any woman, but it's not true. I'm going to say if it is true, it's a small percentage, but then I could say the same thing about women then.
But some people
Just statistically
Yeah.
speaking.
yeah,
You know?
definitely.
So at the end of the day, we all have our choices when it comes down to who we sleeping with. And just because you're with somebody and you find that person attractive, somebody might find them disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've seen friends that dated women that I wouldn't even touch. I wouldn't even think about. As a matter of fact,
He always got a story.
when I was honestly, when I lived a very eventful life. I can't help that. But when I was in the Marine Corps, I had one of my really good friends' wives come on to me. She literally tried to come on to me, and I left her hanging. So, I mean, at the end of the day, he wasn't nowhere around. Mm-hmm. He was out for a while. He was on a tour. You know what I mean? So I really could have did whatever I was going to do, but it wasn't right. So I didn't do it. And the crazy part about it is I never told him. I never told him, but I never told him because I felt like in telling him that, you know what I mean? What would it accomplish?
Right.
It's not like I took it. And even if she was going to do it with somebody else, you know, I'm not going to be the reason for your misery and pain.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't do that. You know, even if I found her attractive, my bond with my brother was deeper than that. You know what I mean? I would never do that.
Right.
Never. So,
Tyrone back on your side.
Oh,
It was just a matter of
let
time.
me tell you something, Tyrone.
No, we good, Ty.
I'm telling you, at the end of the day, she gonna try and run you through the ring.
No,
man.
I'm not. Mike
you might as well
doesn't
stay over here on my side.
No,
man.
you're
you do
fine.
better on my side.
Mike doesn't
you
allow
know?
me to have a bell, so I can't ring the bell when Mike says something. I was
You
talking.
happy?
I can't ring the bell when Mike says something intelligent or on point. So thank you, Ty, for being on Mike's side, because other than that, he wouldn't have any.
You know, Jay don't give me no shit about this bell.
I'm not either.
So anyway, all I want to say personally is this: how can you be in a functioning relationship? Take it back to the topic. How can you be in a functioning relationship if you need something sexually and you tell your partner, I need this sexually, and they say, well, no, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? And not even try to come up with a way to kind of smooth it out or kind of work it out in a fashion where you may get something that you want, or maybe have to compromise a little bit, especially if it's something that makes you happy or something that you desire. I mean, how do you move forward with that? How can you not be thinking about rolling out? Because I think it's only two options. You either resolve to never do this in your life, something that's eating at your soul that you really want to do, or you walk away.
I was laughing because it was like, okay, the negotiations, is that like birthday and holiday special? Like, okay, I'll do it on the birthday and your holiday, but don't ask me to do it every time or something like that. But I've again, you really got to know your partner and really have these conversations, and then really be honest about what is your want and what is your need. You know, like, you just want this, or do you absolutely need this?
Well, you gotta realize too, if you're with somebody for 10 years, right? It might be something that you want to explore.
Right. And are you
so
open to
you might not have known that walking in the door that one day you were going to want to put, put your stuff in a hot dog bun and put ketchup and mustard on it and role play like you a freaking hot
the
dog.
thoughts of Michael Storm Miller.
No, what I'm
Michael
saying
Storm
is,
Miller.
you may have never knew that one day
Right.
you would want to be slathered in peanut butter. Like, you may have never known these things, and over time you may have gathered this obsession with it and maybe want to do it.
I get it.
I mean,
but you grow together, you evolve together, and it's always the conversation.
You don't evolve together. You evolve separately.
You grow.
You exist together.
Michael with his words. I get it.
I'm just saying, you gotta be clear. Don't be Michael with these words. Let me tell you something. So
he slathered somebody in peanut butter.
Jerome
And put
said,
stuff in
can't have them Jody vibes in my life, bro. I won't sleep with a woman if she ain't single. That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, it's like, if I think, even with that being said, Jerome, I think different people approach that different ways.
Yeah, she's single while she with you.
I think
I'm single at this moment.
He said he won't sleep with her if she's not single.
I know, but at this moment, while I'm with you, I'm single is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when I leave here and put my ring on, I'm married on Tuesdays and Monday through Friday, but Saturday and Sunday, I'm single while I'm with you.
My office hours are 9 to 5. Nah, but the whole time you gotta look at it this way. When it's all said and done, if you're building a life with somebody, if you've been in a space with somebody for so long, y'all been growing together so long, the relationship is good and all. I think a healthy relationship requires that you be open to the possibility of even at least trying it once. Like, it could be something that had so much negativity around it that you said no, not because you think it was bad or anything else, but it was so much negativity around it that you now are looking at it like a bad thing.
Right. I think trust plays a big part in that too. You may have been like you're saying
Trust fall.
traumatized. Yeah, go ahead for traumatized with the experience before. So you all of a sudden you are like totally against it. But with trust in a relationship and you two exploring together and trusting the person that you're with, you may be open to trying some things different with your partner. For me, it's like you build a relationship. I think sex is the like the cherry on top. Like if everything good in our relationship, sex is like so crazy.
Sex is not the cherry on top.
Oh my, to you it's not. I had the mic. Sex is like the cherry on top of everything. I know you do. But it's like if you just build your life off the cherry and then try to make the sundae and all the other stuff, it's just backwards. So I'm just saying let
me tell you something.
Here you go.
Sex can't be the cherry on top. First
it's
off,
a metaphor.
How
it's
you
just
doing,
not
Rashida? How you doing, Rashida?
Hi, Rashida.
Jerome said that's some old whole shit, and that brings whole problems unless you and your partner swing or are open like that.
Oh, we're talking about that.
He said that's some old whole shit. That bring whole problems. You know, hoes gotta eat too.
Listen.
You know? Yo, let me tell you something. I think honestly, I think you have to be open to change at every phase in your relationship, and you got to be willing to do stuff that you haven't done before. I mean, it's unfair to expect someone to stay in a relationship with somebody forever and you're not even willing to explore wants and needs as they develop and as they change, because we're human beings. We don't never feel the same way about anything forever. Even our basic core principles change over time.
And any long length relationship is not going to have, you're not going to have the same type of sex each and every time. Like you're going to get, you're going to
missionary.
Some people do. There's just, I know a lot of women who just lay there and do what they.
But who want to do that though?
Some people do. Now, are they in long-term relationships or have they been short-term and they got cheated on? Maybe. But what I'm saying is I know a lot of people who do that. But and if you're in a long-term relationship, you're not going to have the same type of sex every day. You know, you're going to run out of things to do. So you're going to really have to, it's only so much you can do, but you can explore. But if you are limited in your mindset and not willing to budge or explore, then you're going to have that stagnant relationship we were talking about before. Something's not going to.
I think it starts boiling down to what people are, like some people are comfortable being stagnant in their sex. Some people are okay with that. Some people are okay being at this one point right here forever. Okay, sex looks like this Tuesday night, Tuesday night.
You bring out a schedule.
But hey man.
You bring out a calendar.
Yo, let me tell you something.
Oh my gosh.
Some people are literally like that.
I know a lot of married couples
will fill
like that.
their life with so many things that they don't make time for sex. And so then it's kind of like, and it's weird to make time for everything but the person you're with. That's weird. Mm-hmm. It's weird to make time for everything but the person that you're with. That's not fair. It's not right. And then if you come to the table talking about what you ain't gonna do, and act like you doing me a favor by being with me, bitch, speed on. In the military, they say speed on to get peed on. Oh, that's how I feel. Jerome said, that dead fish in bed is garbage. We won't last like that at all. But that's what I'm saying, though. Some people are like that. Mm-hmm. Some people are like that. So if you're in a relationship with somebody and you may dig everything about them, but they're just like, I'm not going to experience anything sexually. You can't do nothing else about it, and you're staying with me. That shit, that don't fly. It don't fly nowhere. Then get mad because somebody stepped out on you. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, man, we human beings. And I'm not saying that I'm sorry,
no, Rashida comment. She said respectfully.
Hold on. Christina said, Lots of laugh. Dead fish spoil you and get thrown in the garbage. I agree. And Rashida said, I agree. I can't see myself staying if we can't be respectfully nasty.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
But that's what I'm saying. At the
She said
end of the
respectfully.
day, at the
She's
end
a
of the
lady.
day, I feel like she's agreeing with me. That's what I feel like. I feel like you're agreeing with me, Rashida. When it's all said and done, man, if I want to put marshmallow fluff on you,
Why are you
and
making
you
people
don't
into
really
desserts?
like sticky stuff, I mean,
What is with you peanut butter,
well,
marshmallows,
I'm just saying
and
because
hot
I'm
dog
not
buns?
trying to go deep down a rabbit hole and say some other stuff. So
I'm just
what
a
I'm trying
visual
to do-
person.
So let's say
So-
this. So all right. At the end of the day, all I'm saying is this: if let's say you live a vanilla life, and all of a sudden, you know, your mate is looking into BDSM. And let's say they want to dominate you or be dominated. You know what I mean? Let's say they're into pet play. Let's say they're like, hey, can I dress up like a cat and just act like a cat and you pet me and everything else and yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? If that winds up being a deal breaker, I mean, come on, like literally, what should you care, honestly, that your mate is saying, hey, I want to explore this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, should you really be like, nah, we ain't doing that weird shit. We not this, we not that, because that's how people come at you.
Well, some people do have fetishes. Like,
Realistically.
I was just thinking about the R. Kelly thing. It's like I'll be like, what's really wrong with you? Like some stuff.
What's wrong with who?
Exactly. But if it's not your thing, then it's not your thing. If it's
I ain't
not,
even go there.
whatever. What's it? Rashida said, Mike Marshmallows though.
Yeah, marshmallows. I'm just saying.
Christina
I'm
said
just
because
saying.
women got cake.
Because women
Now
got
we all
cake,
on the
you need
food.
that. You need that.
Jerome said, haha, Diamond, us fat guys into some weird shit.
You
Rashida
got
said,
that
yes,
right.
God. Wait,
Yeah, see, all I'm saying at the
wait a
end of the
minute. Is
day,
it dressing up like a cat? Rashida, what are you saying? Yes, God said.
I can't see the emoji because I don't have my glasses.
It's the
on.
laughing emojis. Yeah, it's the laughing one.
Yo, all I'm
Rashida was
saying,
crying, laughing, saying Mike Marshmallows, though.
At the end of the day, all I'm really trying to point out is that if you're in a relationship, a long-seated relationship, and somebody comes out to you and say, and your partner comes to you and they just say, yo, I just want to try some really nasty shit. And the shit that they tell you is so far gone from your mind. Because remember, what's nasty to you is normal to another motherfucker.
Yeah, and that's when you gotta know your partner. I will say that. You really have to know your partner. They off the chain.
Rashida said to the role play, meow. Jerome said, only if she rocking that cat's tail butt plug joke. I'm snatching that shit.
Oh Lord.
Y'all making my head hurt, man.
Oh my goodness.
Yo,
Don't get him
yeah,
over
I'm saying, I
excited.
100% agree, but that's all I'm saying at the end of the day. But all these comments prove is that these people, including myself, will get into relationships and they want more and they want to do more. And they want to experience that with their partner.
Right.
You
I
got
can
what
say
I'm
that.
saying?
I can
So
see that.
For a partner to turn around and be like, well, no. And then you say, well, can we do something to rectify that? And they be like, well, what the hell that mean?
But that's
Now
part
they
of
want to argue with you about it. So you're like, oh, no, never mind. And then next thing you know, you out there in them COVID streets.
not in the COVID streets with your mask on.
Out there with
In the cat
COVID
suit,
streets.
peanut butter and marshmallows.
Walking two chicks dressed up like puppies. Like, I'm just saying.
Why?
Like, it
Oh my
is
God,
what it
the
is at the
visual.
end of the day. Like
I think people's personality, I think you would know like some people's personality outside of the bedroom, some of their limitations in the bedroom. Like I think if you know somebody in a relationship with them and then like they all like just not doing this, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing this. Like, but you know, if they are so narrow-minded here that they are not going to
See, it's normally the opposite, though. It's normally the way somebody is in front of people. It's not what they are sexually.
No, I'm not talking about just in public. Anybody, I'm saying with you. Like I'm saying if you're in a relationship and somebody wears gray suits all the time, or they very pristine about time in the intimate relationship with you, you know, at a certain thing they only going certain far.
I don't agree with that.
Jerry.
I don't agree with
Oh
that.
my
Hold
God,
on.
Tyrone.
Paige said, I think the key is to not be dismissive of your partner's desires. Even if you think it's a little weird, never know until you try. But if your partner is like way out there, oh shit, that popped right up. Hold on. If your partner is like
Way out
there, it might be time to cut them loose. And Jesus, cut them loose and let them chase their freaky fantasies elsewhere.
Go ahead, Paige.
Tyrone said, Jerry. Jerome said, just jokes, hun, unless she down.
But he put
Unless she gonna do
unless she
it.
down. He said it's just jokes and fun. But unless she down with that cat suit and the marshmallows.
Christina said, you can be open to try something. If you don't like it, try something else. But I agree. Some people have boundaries. But you shouldn't be so restrictive that you can't get a good nut. Rashida said, yes, I believe you have to compromise, but be sure to have a safe word for things you don't agree with.
Oh my God. Rashida went to a whole safe word.
Rashida, I'm feeling that because she literally said, be sure to have a safe word for things you don't agree with, which means I'm going to do that. But let's be safe. That's all. I'm
Can you hear?
I'm going to need a life jacket.
Let's test this out
I need a couple
first.
flares. I need a baby pool, 3 midgets in a unicycle. And somebody bring me some potato salad.
Where do midgets come from? I can't.
Jerome said boundaries should be established early, and when pushed, it should be a mutual agreement to test these things. I agree.
Back to Jerry.
Jerry. Listen, at the
my
end of the
goodness.
day, you know, I
safe
agree
words
about
and
all of
midgets.
that. I do believe that you need boundaries. I agree with Paige said earlier. I do think that sometimes, if where somebody is trying to go, you literally feel deep down inside you can't get there. Mm-hmm. And if you're not willing to sit down and have conversation and compromise for these situations that might not be that social construct normal, I think what you do need to do is walk away. I do. I mean, I don't think it hurts anybody in the long run if you just say, listen, I can't do that. If anything, it's just going to free somebody to find what they really need. You know what I mean? That's just how I look at it. Now, is it worth it to do that?
That's what
I'm
I was
not
about
going
to
to
go.
say in
Is
every
it worth it? 'Cause
situation.
you can
it's
get
not
what you
worth
want
it.
physically, sexually, and then that's only going to last a certain amount of time, and then you miss out on. It's like, what do they call it? The 80-20 rule they was talking about before.
Man,
it's like
fuck that.
Come on,
Fuck
but we
that.
just talked about that.
Fuck
If you go get everything you want sexually, do you risk losing the rest of it?
Listen, all of these 80-20 rules,
I
and
just
all of
referred
these-
to it.
all of these things that people come up with to try to keep us in this construct of what relationships should look like. That's why people got the problems they got now, because society has told us what our relationship looks like. Our mother and father told us what our relationship looked like because their grandmother and grandfather told them, and so forth and so forth and so on and so on. And society says this is what it should look like. And so many people are so freaking sexually frustrated that they can't even find their way, or they have these things inside of them that they're scared to share with their partner because they don't want to be looked at as like they're weird or something,
Right.
or like they don't belong, or they're asking for something that only Martians would want. It's weird because the same person that's sitting there and calling you a freak or calling you a weirdo because of the things that you may like sexually is the same person that's standing in the closet watching his girl do somebody else jacking off with the door cracked, but his wife and the other person know that he in there. You got what I'm saying? For whatever somebody want to look at you and call you crazy for, you best believe they got something in their fucking closet that if they would let it out in the open, we could look at them and say the same thing. So we put this weird ass social construct in place to tell people what it's supposed to be. And then everyone is forced up to live to that. Hold on, Rashida said, if you are a dominant, I feel that your mate should be a submissive. I don't feel that two dominants should be together. I agree. And that's whether you're female or male. If you're a dominant female, you know what I mean, you should have a submissive male. I think two dominants are just going to butt heads unless they get a toy.
Some people switch roles. One is dominant sometime and one is submissive.
Yeah, some people do switch roles. You know what I mean? And the crazy part about it is there's nothing wrong with that. See, what I'm trying to paint the picture of is that whatever it is that you want and desire in life, there is nothing wrong with that. And what I'm trying to speak to is to those partners who are drawing those hard lines and giving hard no's and stuff. And ask yourself, what is that moving to? What, Jerome, you a switch? I didn't know that. Check you out. So the whole time, I'm a dominant. I can't, I'm a dominant. But the whole thing is when people give you hard no's and they don't want to rectify it or don't want to have adult conversation about it. I mean, let's be real. If you have everything that I want and desire and this is lacking, let's talk about what's lacking. If you give me everything that I want, you're going to get everything you need. I promise you. I will fucking, most people, I want to say, I like to believe most people are good people. And I believe that most people will work their fingers to the bone. I believe they will give you anything that your heart desires if you give them the things that they want and need in life. They will almost feel obligated to do it. You got what I'm saying? But what I'm talking about speaks way beyond that obligation. I'm talking about loving somebody enough where you would do anything for them. You got what I'm saying? Based off the fact that you love them the way they need to be loved, with no degrees of separation, with no extra shit, with you putting yourself on the line like, you know what? If that's what my baby want, that's what the fuck my baby gonna get. Jerome said, we all know you are Mike. Haha. That's public knowledge at this point. Yeah. Yes. Well, you know what? I put it out there every chance I get because it's weird.
Every chance he gets. I'm agreeing with you. I don't have
like
the bell.
Not like that. That's why you ain't got no
now
damn
you want
bell.
See, you are dominant because now you want to tell me how to agree with you.
That's why you ain't got no bell.
I don't need a bell.
See.
You want to tell me how to agree with you.
At the end of the day, all I'm saying quite simply is we have to open up ourselves and open up our ways of thinking. We have to let people actually get...
Tyrone on once a night, I'm trying to tell you.
Sally. Listen, we have to, number one, the biggest thing we need to do is get to know ourselves and not be ashamed of who we are, not be ashamed of our orientation, not be ashamed of our lifestyles, not to be ashamed of our deepest heart's desires. Because most of the time when you're ashamed of who you are, you try to push it into a box that is too small to fit into. You try to fit in and be like everybody. But let me tell you something. You can only act for so long. And eventually what happens is pressure builds. And pressure, as we all know, pressure bursts pipes. You know what I mean? That pressure has nowhere to go. Eventually you're going to act out. And you might not even know why you're acting out. You got what I'm saying? You might find yourself driving the street late night looking for something, you know what I mean? Because you're not getting what it is that you want or need. Most people say that when people cheat in their relationships, they say you cheat down. Do you believe that? You ever hear that? Like people cheat down?
I haven't heard that before, but I can understand it.
So the whole principle of cheating down is that you have, let's say you have something really good at home and then you wind up cheating with something that's beneath you. You know what I mean? I don't think that it's cheating down when somebody cheats on somebody. I think somebody cheats on somebody with somebody that doesn't have those hangups. I think when people decide to cheat, they're going to cheat with somebody that's literally willing to give them the things that, and they might not want nothing else from that person. So in that point, it doesn't really matter what the look is. It doesn't really matter what kind of job they have. It don't matter if they got any drive or ambition.
They just
the
get what
only
they
thing
want.
that matters is that they're fulfilling a need. You know?
I get that.
So at the end of the day, we got to ask ourselves, man, let me tell you something. Is your hard no worth your relationship? You got what I'm saying?
I get that.
You get that.
Yeah, for me, it's like you're putting it all on the person that's saying no versus the person. Is this worth you walking
Because
away
it
from?
is all on a
Why
person
your voice
saying
gotta
no.
go up? We're just talking. That's the experience
No,
I
we're
have
not
seen.
talking.
They usually cheat down visually but up emotionally.
I haven't seen that you cheat down visually but up emotionally. I like that. I like that. I like that. What you think?
I think an emotional connection is kind of worse than a physical one, though.
Well, a physical connection could lead to an emotional one.
Yeah, but
But sometimes that person that you just might be fucking, they might be listening to everything you got to say. They might be saying all the right things they need to say. And they may have designs on you. You got what I'm saying? So, Jerome said, "You're killing me, Smalls." The cheat down is a visual thing. People point out due to vanity. Probably so. But I think if you cheat on somebody, they're automatically going to say the person you cheated with is like ugly, unattractive, they're a loser. This is what people say. But quite honestly, once again, if you really look at it, when you cheat on somebody, you cheat with somebody that's giving you what it is you're not getting.
yeah.
That's literally giving you what you're not getting. They're usually a really gung-ho willing participant. That's all it is at the end of the day. What are you laughing
Because
at
you're
now?
like they're gun ho willing participants.
They are. Like
it's
they-
like a job application.
No, they're
I'm a
not sitting
gun ho
back.
willing participant.
They're not sitting back acting like they don't want to be a part of this. They're not sitting back looking at you like you disgust them for saying, yo, I want to freaking wiggle my finger in your booty. You know what I mean? They're not looking at you like you backwards because, you know, hey, I want to toss a saddle on you and freaking ride
Somebody
you like a horse.
please help me. Why
No,
do
I'm
I
just
have
saying,
to have
like,
these analogies?
All I'm saying is that for anything that you could look at that you could say is weird or strange, man, there are all types of people participating in all types
Yeah.
of things that you will never know about because people typically don't talk about these things.
But it's
because
normal to that society.
We've been taught to be ashamed of who we are, ashamed of of what we want, ashamed of our sexuality. We've been taught to be ashamed of damn near everything. Shit, at a certain point in time, you would have been ashamed of, like in school, people chastise you, and sometimes people be ashamed of being in a band, and they may love it. Be ashamed of playing an instrument, and they may love it. You got what I'm saying? But this is how our society is built up. If this is what you're doing, this is normal, and this is what you're doing.
I get that. You define your own normal, but you got to find somebody who is compatible with you in that way. And that's where we will go back to the conversation and being real with it. Is it something you want, you need? Is this a deal breaker? This is where I'm at. Because once you hit a certain level of your sexuality, you are not going going back
Oh,
down.
no, you can't
So
go back.
it's
You can
like
never go back.
It's like
You can
I got
never
cheese
go
on my
back.
burger now. I ain't gonna eat no regular burger.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
You know,
But that's the way it is, though.
Right.
At the end of the day, and just like I said, I feel sorry for people who are not willing to, number one, experiment with their mate who may want a little more, or who is not willing to make exception for their mate to get what it is that they need in life. And once again, we look at the people we are in relationships with as property. We do. And because we view them as property, we don't want nobody playing with our toys. We don't want this. We don't want that. I'm just saying, it's like, it's crazy. Let me read some of these comments. Jerome said, oh, they definitely going to say whatever makes them feel better and puts the other person down. I agree. Tyrone is laughing at something you said, Diamond. And Jerome said, shit, like, look at her fucked up teeth. I hope she rakes his dick.
Oh my God.
He gonna miss this smile. Ha ha. Oh, she got no ass. He gonna miss these cheeks. Ha ha. And dudes say some stupid ass shit too. I agree. But see, I think that's the anger talking, really. People be angry that you wound up doing what it was that you did with who you did it with. And it fucks up their psyche and their ego because they was the shit just yesterday. Before they found out this information, they was everything. But now you just showed them through your actions, so what they're thinking anyway, that they ain't nothing. And it doesn't mean that, but that's typically what they think. Right. Paige said, when I got cheated on, I was like, okay, cool. Go ahead with her then. Done deal. I wasn't even upset, to be honest. More like confused. If you want someone else, why not just tell me? Grow up and man up before you pull your pants down. I agree with that. I think that people should always have conversations. I think, you know what? Me and Pete was talking about this other day. Most people never want to be like straight up about things. Most people don't, because to be straight up, man, it hurts. And it's typically selfish. Most people want to get away with whatever it is that they get away with for however long they get away with it. But it's funny though, because in some situations, people will get mad and they'll roll out, I'm done with you. I'm done. But then some people will get mad, but they'll keep on engaging in whatever it is that they're doing. And they may be upset about it, but you have other people who have just come to the realization that this is just what it is and just what it's going to be. You know what I mean? Some people see more value in the relationship than just this moment of sex. Some people see more value in a relationship than giving up a hard no and saying this is a non-negotiable. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times people have to be open to the possibility of doing something deeper than what they're used to. Hell, fuck that. If you want to be if you're a rope bunny and you want to be tied up, fucking get tied up.
Somebody.
And your mate literally should, let me tell you something. If you come to your mate and your mate say, man, that shit is weird, then I'm going to tell you like this. If she or he is not Googling on how to tie a knot, then fucking to me, it's something wrong with him or her. Because why would you enter into a relationship knowing that we all change physically, emotionally, sexually over time, and then not expect to grow with the person you're with? Why not give them these new experiences and get those new experiences under your belt just the same? I mean, what's so bad about trying something weird or trying something different? What's so wrong about that?
It may not be in somebody else's perspective or somebody else's, what is it, horizon. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm open to this, but you talking about what? Do what? Like, is there a limitation? Like, okay, I'm willing to compromise a little bit, but what you talking about now? Now it's rope bunnies, and then you Google it and all this other stuff come up on your phone. You're like, what type of crap is they into?
All mad about this shit.
It's like, what is this? But is it to a certain extent? And I think the more you explore, the more now you're open up Pandora's box to explore more. So where is the limitation to this, or is there any more?
Pandora's box got a hole in the bottom of that bitch. So, you know, if you open up the lid, the whole box just falls apart. I'm sorry.
It depends on who you with.
Christina
Who you with?
Said, I agree. I got cheated on a lot. Jerome said it's cowardly, in my opinion. Paige said there are a lot of fish in the sea. If you don't like the one you caught, throw her back before she dies, especially if you ain't even going to eat her.
Oh my gosh,
And
Paige.
Jerome said, "Hell yeah, suspend that girl from the ceiling if she
If she asks.
if she asks, shit, I'm a welder. I will make some shit to handle that."
What type of stuff? Y'all Marine people. He in the Marines too?
He was in the army with me. Christina said, "Eat her." Ha ha.
That was funny.
I can dig it. Let's strap up, lots of laughs. Sex swing. Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, if you can't explore new possibilities with your partner, then who are you supposed to experience that shit with? If you want to try something new, you know what I mean? Who are you supposed to try that with? I mean, your partner, I don't care how vanilla somebody is, your partner should want to literally try things to make you happy. To enjoy these moments with you, create moments. Man, some of this shit might turn into your new inside joke. You know what I mean? Like you talking about like and some new shit. You know what I mean? I'm saying. Yo, let me tell you something. The best things, the best situations, the best moments that you have in life are normally those unscripted moments with somebody that you love.
Right.
Especially sexually. I can literally tell you, like, sexually doing weird shit, it's so freaking crazy. And you can smile about so many things. You can laugh about so many things. And it kind of warms your heart. I think it brings you closer to somebody to experience something with somebody for the first time. And whether it be your first time, her first time, or both of y'all first time together. I mean, who better is it to try it with? Shit.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, I think as long as you trust that person and if you're sleeping with them, you already doing some stuff. You should trust them a little bit. You know, trust them some.
You trust them a lot of bit.
Well, something. You know what I mean? But as the relationship as the relationship goes on, like the trust and stuff should be deeper, and you should just, like experiment some different things with your mate. I'm trying to be politically correct here, but you gotta know who you with. You gotta know who you with. You never know once you open that. Once you open up that box, the partner who was first like, I don't want to do that. Now all of a sudden they ain't changed the whole room around, got some stuff up here and ordered some stuff, and you don't know nothing. Now you went up for a whole treat. So again, sometimes you have to unlock that inner freak in somebody, and it's good if you're that person, but you're experimenting together. But again, know your mate and have these conversations. They may have never been exposed to that. They may have had bad experiences or heard certain stuff about it, but it can be a very it can be like the highlight of your relationship sometimes.
Well, I also
agree with parties. Who said with both parties? I thought Tyrone
you
said
making up shit.
thought Tyrone said
I agree with both parties.
I thought he was talking about some kind of party. I'm like, who said anything about parties?
Let me tell you. I mean, when it's all said and done, I don't think that you coming out with a hard no to certain. Let me tell you something. Okay, yeah, we there are certain things in life I know I would never do.
You got hard nose?
There are, I do have hard nose.
Mister, there should be no hard nose.
Well, the literally, like my hard nose. Just hear me out. Hear me out. Just because it's my hard no, I also said I would be open and willing to have a conversation about what can be done.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, well, okay, I'm not doing this. You got what I'm saying? But hey, we can talk. We can talk. You might find yourself in a situation. We can talk. You know what I mean? To me personally, I think when you love, care, and trust someone, I think when you're building a life with somebody, that you need to be open to their wants and needs. And to me personally, if you're talking about you going to be the one, you know what I mean, then what you truly need to think about is what that means. Mm-hmm. What that means to walk in those shoes. How far are you willing to go to be that one, to please your mate, to make sure that your mate is happy with the relationship, with all aspects of the relationship. Because this 80-20 bullshit, let me tell you something. Two people working together for the better of the whole. That means mentally, that means physically, that means emotionally, that means sexually. Like we're in this and we're moving our life forward together. It's powered by us. And it's only going to get what we put into it. So if I'm supposed to be loving you and I want you to be happy and you coming at me about doing something extra that I might not be so comfortable with, we can talk about it. Because to me personally, that's the way love works. See, I'm not going to love you the way I want to love you. I'm going to love you the way you need to be loved. But in return, I want to be loved the way I need to be loved.
And that's the part that people have to be open to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not
That
just
means-
talking about sex, but just you have to be open to knowing someone else's love language and knowing that it may not be the one that you're accustomed to, but knowing what your partner's love language is, and are you willing to feed that, you know, or are you not ready to be in that kind of relationship and limit them to knowing only your language, because then that becomes very selfish. And I'm not talking about just sex, I'm talking about all around.
So let me read.
I saw what Jerome said.
Oh, wait. I don't know if you saw all of it.
No, I just see that.
Because it's extra comments. I'm on the same thread.
It's
and
not coming up
extra
there.
Comments. I want to refresh the page. Should I be scared of that? Can I refresh this page, P?
He ain't paying us no money.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh well, I'm gonna read what I got here. So, Christina said, "Yup, you can sit back and say, remember that one time you shot me in the eye? Come." I agree with both parties," said Tyrone. Jerome said, "Diamond, just know if you enter a man's house and he has a heavy-duty eye bolt anchored in the ceiling somewhere, he is a freak." Christina said to Jerome, lots of laugh. "It's the house where I live that was put up for sale, and each room was designed as a different sex scene."
Oh, my.
Lots of laughs. "The owners kept it that way, even with showing to prospective customers." Jerome said, "Ladies, if y'all have one, holla at your boy."
Jerome said, "I'm in the right conversation today."
Indeed. And all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, we got to see how things is. So, what I want you to do is tell people where they can find you again.
I don't even know no more. Listen,
Just put it in the
no,
thread.
because of you and your.
Put it in the damn
I'm not
thread.
talking about that. I'm talking about something else. I was being funny.
Oh.
Just because of the conversation. Where can you find me? I have an alias today.
You have
talking
an
about
alias.
this stuff. I have an alias.
No
but I
aliases
am Radical Diamond on Instagram and on Twitter, Radical with a K, and I am Sherelle Diamond Hogans here on Facebook, and I will put it in the plug in a few seconds.
Cool beans. So we're winding down. We have maybe about 15 minutes or so. Let me check. We
Microphone
have
check. Mic 13.
13 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is give Diamond about 4 minutes.
12 minutes.
4 minutes.
12 minutes, doggy. Fresh your
To
own.
give up a final thought on sex and relationships and those hard no's. Can you give a final thought?
5 minutes. Let me look at the thing.
I said
Let me
4.
think.
You're about to make it 3.
9:47. That means 9:54.
9:50. Go.
What?
Go.
You are not
And
mine. Anyway, I always think he the boss of me.
And go.
So
Rest of your
anyway, we've been saying this all night. Make sure you know your partner, and then like really have these conversations and let your needs be known. Like seriously, whether it's sex or anything else, what your love language is, so that you're not constantly in a battle with your partner, like fighting tooth and nail for everything you need in the relationship. But also make time to know what your partner's love language is, so that it can be a giving and receiving type of situation. You want to make sure that like sometimes sex is maybe your mate's love language. And then there are women who enjoy sex more than men do. There are women out there like that. So it can easily be flipped that your woman is asking you to do some things that a man who was like, wait a minute. Because sometimes it comes out, well, where'd you learn that from? And what do you, you know what I mean? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, we grown, we here now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't born yesterday. But, make sure you know each other's love language. Make sure you communicate and make sure you wrap it up. Try to be safe out there. There's so much stuff going out there. Enjoy, but be safe. And then be willing to, again, be open to explore. Know what your absolute no's are and know what you are willing to compromise and why you're saying no. Is it an absolute no? Is it a maybe not now? Maybe, you know, what kind of negotiations can you do to be pleasing your mate? And just know where your levels are. I ain't saying too much because we're talking about people in general and not marshmallows and midgets and other people's fantasies over here. Mike has been a friend of mine for a long time, but there's certain parts of Mike I don't want to ever know about. Like, it's just, now I got to get that out of my head. But, yeah, know your mate. I'm done. Mike's going to take longer than me, but know your mate. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. Communicate. I still got time, but go ahead.
So, the way I'm looking at this is, when it's all said and done, the most important thing you can ever do for yourself is to know yourself. Know yourself better than anyone. Know what you want. Know what you need in life. Don't follow the social construct of what your relationships should look like. When you sit down with people, you meet somebody new, man, just have a real conversation. Talk to them about what it is that you desire. Talk to them about what it is that you need. And you can't always be scared that you're going to scare somebody off. Because sometimes just the conversation alone becomes intriguing to people and they want to know. They want to know, and they'll take that hop down the rabbit hole. They'll go down there with you to see what it's all about, to explore your world. You got what I'm saying? So you have to open yourself up to you. After you know who you are, you know what you need, you know what you want, move forward. Start pushing out to people. Start meeting people, start mingling, start hanging around like-minded people. You got what I'm saying?
Find your tribe.
Yeah, you got to find your tribe, man, because if you don't find your tribe, you'll be out there all alone. Let me tell you something. There's more weird people than normal people. It's just the ones that are labeled weird are the ones that share how they feel, what they think, and what they like. The ones that are labeled normal are the ones who are afraid to say something and be labeled weird. You got what I'm saying? We got to be open to things. When it's all said and done, we have to be open to things. We have to be open to new experiences. And for those who would be in a relationship and who say that they have everything they need in that relationship, and that relationship sexually starts to change, if you would be so stubborn as to cut your own nose off to spite your face, then, I mean, all is lost for you. To me, it's a foolish move to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's a foolish move to try to stand on some ground in weird principle, just saying that I'm not willing to experience this with the person I love. Sometimes I can almost guarantee that it just sets up a situation for somebody to go and get it elsewhere. And then at the end of the day, you will be mad about that outcome. You know, can't win for losing. Mm-hmm. So sometimes we have to step outside ourselves. So I tell you what, if you don't like fellatio, bite the bullet. And if you're going to do it, don't act like you don't like to do it. Be the nastiest motherfucker this side of the equator. I promise you, if you're going to do something, man, you balls to the wall. You go all out. You push that pedal all the way to the floor, and you be the best at it. Because guess what? It's not about you. It's about the person that you love. And it's about them being happy in a moment and them experiencing something with you. So sometimes we have to step outside of ourselves. And who knows? If that hard no you have, if you decide to to give them that shaky yes and step outside of your comfort zone, man, you may have more fun than you ever had in your life. I promise. I'm gonna hit some more of these comments real quick.
I think it's more probably on your phone that come up there. Some of the stuff that wasn't up there.
Okay. Okay. I had Jerome said I had a beneficial friend who had one and never noticed it because of the plants she had, and one was hanging in the living room till a year in.
She was incognito, but in public. Like, you know what I mean? It's hanging plants, and she got stuff hanging from the thing.
Christina said, Christina answered to Jerome's comment about you earlier, that he addressed to you earlier. She said, I would have a secret dungeon in my house that you need a code to get into. Jerome said, don't get me started on midgets. Now, we all know it's about the small things in life.
Oh, my goodness. Jerome got time today.
Yeah, Jerome said that code is 69420. Of course, that's your comment. Thanks for rocking out with us and being on my side sometimes. Jerome said, thanks for standing your ground with Mike and his bell. See you next time, girl. Let me tell you something.
He is not the boss of me. We argue all the time.
I'm definitely the boss of you. I keep telling you that.
He's never the boss of me.
This is Open Mike's Cafe.
And
live.
Diamond, including Diamond.
Underneath this small writing.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Anyway, the main thing is have fun. Have fun. And so we got maybe 5 minutes left, I want to say.
Yep. A little bit
and so what I'm going to do is share a piece of poetry with y'all because I know that Diamond probably is going to tell me she don't have one with her. So I'll share a piece. Me.
Please don't sing. No, I do not have a piece of poetry with me.
So as the lying bed at night, yearning for the warmth of your sweet flesh pressed up against mine, two hearts and souls lost within this one moment in time. Our limbs, you know what? Fuck that.
That's not how the poem goes.
No, it's not. I'm just going to read one because I always do that one. So because
you always try to flow like you know all your stuff and it's
I
open
do
mics and
know all
I'm
my
gonna rock the
stuff.
mic and roses are red and violets are blue and
So I haven't read this in a long time. I had wrote it down for the erotic night that we was going to have on February 6th. That didn't happen. But I do want to tell everybody on March the 24th, I'm going to be having an open mic. And that one is official. It's already paid for. It's ready to go. So I will give y'all more information as I get more information. I got to do a flyer and all that good stuff. So here you go. She told me she never did this before. 2 a.m. at my front door, nipples erected from the breeze. Down to her knees, she uttered softly, please, let me serve you. I deserve whatever your heart desires. Her words sparked fire to my imagination, sending sensations through my sexuality that most can't comprehend. Get on your feet, now bend. Over the arm of my favorite chair she went. My eyes full of her curves, her dripping gave consent. Please fuck me. I responded, no, stay. As I walked away, disappearing into my room to retrieve a few of my favorite things, I returned. She whispers, please be mean to me. I planned to oblige. Stand up. She quickly complied as I affixed wrist restraints and a collar around her neck. Anticipation causes the mind to expect only what it wants. But I planned to give her what she needed. Her eyes pleaded to begin. She did not understand that it takes a master to manipulate sin in a way that it sends you to heaven. I led her by leash to my lion's den. She walked in and said, it's dim. Shh. I see well in the dark. As I traced her stretch marks like well-traveled roads, bitch, I'm about to touch your soul. I fixed her wrist to my bedpost, tied a blindfold around her head, ensuring her eyes stayed closed. Then I slid my tongue across the small of her back. She lacked the discipline to stand still. She shivered, let your will be done. I ripped her knees apart so her clit could experience freedom, justifying confinement between my lips. I flick her flesh with my tongue feverishly to the point that her thighs start trembling. I take my fingers and start fingering. She starts to squirt while at the same time hollering, I'm coming, oh God, I'm coming. Baby, that ain't God, it's all me. I release her hands, get on your knees. Still shaking, she immediately assumed the position. I whisper, good girl, as I proceed with my mission to condition her to my definition of foreplay. Will I pleasure you? Let me count the ways: sideways, front ways, back ways. Her forehead displays the sweat that shows how hard for me she labored. I slid my tongue across her lips so she can taste the flavor. She begs me to slide inside her wetness. I hear her breathing hard on her knees, saying, please, Daddy, come get this. And I respond, no, that's enough for now. Get dressed. Same time tomorrow. Don't be late. The one thing I will not do is wait for you to discover the concept of time. Prove to me you want to be mine, and in return, you will experience love beyond measure. Tonight was only foreplay. Tomorrow begins the real endeavor. Sheesh, I know that was a long as shit, but I wanted to tell y'all that I appreciate everybody coming out tonight and listening. Thanks for having this conversation. You want to say anything to the people before we go?
I'm good.
Always
Have a
find-
good night.
Always find a reason to smile. Always find a reason to laugh. It's too much bullshit going on in this world. And I will see you Monday on Word Up with Storm and Uncle P. Uncle P and Storm. Holla.
La 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 la.